Thanks for coming back, everybody. As we said before, if you don't mind trying to move in, we still have a few empty seats in the middle, and we have a lot of people waiting outside. So if you could move in, that would be awesome. We have a great session coming up next. It's about the future of video on Facebook. We have Daniel Danker, who's a product management director on the video team here at Facebook, and Aaron Connolly, who's a product manager on the video team as well. So please join me in first welcoming Daniel to the stage.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. I'm Daniel Danker. I'm the product director for video on Facebook's media team, and I'm really, really happy you've joined us today. So, today we are here to talk about the future of video. We think that right now we are in the middle of a pretty major transformation. And we believe that the shift to video is as big as, if not bigger than, the shift from desktop to mobile. Today, video accounts for 50% of mobile data traffic. And in the next 5 years, we expect that to be 75%. And that's not really surprising. People naturally connect with one another through video. And as technology keeps improving, people expect us to provide richer video experiences for them. So, as you heard from Chris, we're putting video at the center of all of our apps and services. So we think about the future of video a lot. But when we do that, it kind of helps to start by looking to the past. Because every time a new communication medium has emerged, entirely new formats and best practices have emerged as well. If you go back to the printing press, it really led to the first books and novels. Radio brought us soap operas and radio plays. Film saw the dawn of silent movies and then epic blockbusters. And TV brought us nightly news, sitcoms, and reality shows. Online video has really led to new formats like unboxing videos and daily vlogs. And so now, as we think about today, we think that something is entirely new and on the horizon. So here's a look at what we're going to cover today. First, we'd like to round up some of the key developments that we've made to Facebook's products over the last year. We'd like to talk about some of the key behaviors that we're seeing around video, and especially around communities on Facebook. And we'd like to explore what those community behaviors mean for our own video roadmap, but also for you as publishers and creators. So, to start off, I'd like to introduce Aaron Connolly, a product manager on the video team.
Thanks, Daniel. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Erin, and I'm a product manager on live video. When I joined Facebook a little over 5 years ago, video on Facebook was just getting started, too. If you would have told me then that in just a few years I'd be able to go live in 360 degrees from my phone, I may not have believed you. But the evolution of video has been amazing, and video on Facebook has exploded. And while we've come a long way, it feels like we're often just getting started based on all the opportunity ahead. This is one of the many reasons I'm excited to work on video at Facebook and to chat with all of you about it today. We've been focusing on giving everyone better ways to create, discover, and watch video, and giving you as publishers more options to make video sustainable for your business. Let's start with video creation. We want the experience of creating video on Facebook to be fun, personal, and interactive. We want it to be easy for people to share the videos they create with the people they care about. For me, this means sharing what I'm cooking on the weekends with my friends and family. Whether it's delicious or a total disaster, I'll always share a video of it. But we know that people, publishers, and creators around the world have a variety of video needs, and we're excited to support all these use cases. Facebook Live has been a big focus for us the past year, and the community has really embraced it. It gives people a voice in the moments that matter and it enables real-time, authentic interaction between a broadcaster and their viewers. Now, 1 in every 5 Facebook videos is a live broadcast. And over the past year, daily watch time for Facebook Live broadcasts has grown more than 4x. As we've rolled out Live, our goal has been to make it easy to broadcast from anywhere, at any time, and any way. We started with the rollout on mobile first, so people could go live easily from their phones. But we know that people have a variety of needs when it comes to broadcasting, so we've added new ways to go live. For example, now you can go live from a web browser on your laptop or desktop. This is great for people that need a more stable setup, like vloggers, journalists, or DIY experts. I'd certainly never consider myself a DIY expert, but being able to go live from my laptop helps with my amateur home cooking videos too. For more advanced broadcasters, we also released the Facebook Live API. The Live API gives you even more flexibility. For example, if you want to stream live video from a newsroom setup, a gaming console, or even a drone. You might recall that at last year's F8, we had a drone fly over the stage to broadcast live during Mark's keynote. And now the Live API isn't just for publishers. We got a lot of requests from people, so last month we made the Live API available to profiles too. We know that it's important to build an audience quickly when you're live, which is easier when your audience knows when to tune in. With the Live API, it's now possible to schedule live broadcasts, which is really helpful for both broadcasters and their audiences. Scheduling helps the audience know when to watch, and the lobby allows them to connect with one another before the video starts. Scheduling also helps broadcasters start their videos strong, with the audience already in place. People really like to personalize the things that they share. So we've been working on ways to make broadcasting more fun and creative. For example, live masks. We've been rolling out new masks to live continually, like the spooky Halloween masks you see here, to other cultural moments like New Year's Eve and Carnival. I can assure you that these masks are so much fun that I barely recognize myself without one at this point. We also heard from people that going live with a friend would be really fun. So as you saw in Chris's keynote, we started rolling out 2-person broadcasts. Having a friend along for the ride makes live videos more interactive, both for the broadcasters and their viewers. It makes it easy to do things like interviews, debates, or just hang out, even if you're not in the same place. Here's a great example from the Brazilian footballer Kaká. On Friends Day this year, he did a live broadcast with Robinho, another Brazilian star. The fans loved getting a glimpse at the bond that these two friends share. Just as live has grown, people have really responded to 360 video on Facebook too. 360 has the power to immerse people in a scene like no other medium. I'm obsessed with 360 videos because they let me experience things I'm way too scared to try in real life. From surfing to skydiving to going on a safari, I've checked quite a few items off my bucket list thanks to 360 videos. And we've seen fantastic adoption of 360 video by publishers and creators. In fact, more than 1 million 360 videos have been published to Facebook since we introduced the format less than a year and a half ago. And we've seen 360 used in really innovative ways. Ski jumpers soaring off a ski jump, guided meditations in the woods, drone flights over waterfalls, museum tours, jazz concerts, basically everything you could think of. So this year, a big focus for us has been to improve the 360 storytelling experience. For example, we heard from people that they worry they might miss an important part of the video if they happen to be looking in the wrong direction. So we released 360 Guide, which makes it easier for you to tell narrative stories in 360 by directing your viewers' attention to certain parts of the video. Let's take a look at this video from Red Bull TV. As it plays, you'll see how the heading indicator on the right side swivels around as the video moves between different points of interest that the publisher has chosen. also debuted Live 360 to help you transport people directly into stories while they're happening. We've seen some pretty amazing broadcasts, like this red carpet premiere of Disney's Beauty and the Beast. It feels like you're right there on Hollywood Boulevard watching the stars arrive. Just a few weeks ago, we rolled out Live 360 broadly, so all pages and profiles can use it. So far, we've integrated 6 camera partners, so anyone can go live in 360 degrees straight from those cameras. You can check out our Live 360 display in the festival hall to see some of those cameras firsthand. Above all, we know that people just like to create and share video. So one of our biggest priorities is to make that fast and easy for everyone. Just a few weeks ago, we rolled out a brand new camera at the core of the Facebook app to do just that. The new camera brings new creative effects front and center, and it gives people more control over the way they share. People can share directly with specific friends, and they can share ephemerally too, which is great for everyday moments. Soon, we'll be bringing live broadcasting to the new camera, along with the live creative effects you heard about in the keynotes this morning. Let's take a look at the new Facebook camera.
How do you explain this moment? Or what this feels like? You know, sometimes there are just no words. So maybe we should let our cameras do more of the talking. Because only something like that can make this girl. And you know that this will make that guy. Aw. Or when you're going out with your friends and you want to tell everyone that tonight is going to be... But you ended up here, and it was kind of... Yeah. Then out of nowhere, she just... Wow. And something like that, or that too, will make anyone just... Yeah, exactly. So now you can say... Or without saying it. And next time, life just... All you have to do is... Yeah.
As you can see, we're really excited about all the ways people, publishers, and creators are creating and sharing video on Facebook. But the other half of the equation is just as important. So we've also been working to make discovering and watching videos on Facebook a richer experience. Let's start with Newsfeed. Newsfeed is great for getting your videos in front of people. It's the first thing people see when they open Facebook, and it's a great front door to invite people into deeper engagement. So we've been improving the video experience in Newsfeed. We've introduced Sound On to bring videos more to life. We've made vertical videos look better and made autoplay faster. We've also made it easier for people to keep watching a video while they continue to browse through Newsfeed. And on Android, people can even keep watching while they're outside the Facebook app entirely. Newsfeed is a great discovery surface, but we know that people have a wide range of needs when it comes to video. Sometimes a person might just be browsing without much of a plan. Other times, they might have a lot of time on their hands and know exactly what they want to watch. Usually, when people watch a video in Newsfeed, they're just browsing. But we're also trying to create a use case for video viewing that's more intentional and longer in duration. So we've been building entirely new video destinations to do just that. Our first new destination is the Video tab in the Facebook mobile app. We created it to give people a dedicated place to go when they're specifically looking for video. The Video tab emphasizes social context, so people can find videos we think that they'll like. And at times, we've been featuring specific videos in the tab that we think the community will really enjoy. But people aren't always on their phones. Sometimes they want to watch videos on a bigger screen. So we've also released new Facebook video apps for TV, for when people really plan ahead and want to settle in and watch for longer. The TV apps give people a more communal experience, so they can enjoy videos together at home while they're hanging out on the couch. We've also found that people really like using the TV apps to catch up on videos that they've saved to watch for later. So far, we've released apps for Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, and Samsung Smart TVs. We've seen really promising usage so far, and we're looking at more platforms for the future. Be sure to stop by our demo of Apple TV and the living room setup right outside the ballroom. So now, people have a few different places to discover and watch video content: in Newsfeed, in the Video tab, and in our TV apps, which is great for you as you work to reach your audiences. But we know that video content requires a significant investment, and that all this video discovery and consumption needs to drive meaningful results for your business. So we're committed to supporting that investment by expanding opportunity for you to monetize your video, both on and off Facebook. In the past year, we've opened up in-stream video ads in Audience Network. We've improved our branded content offerings, and we've started testing ad breaks in both live and on-demand videos. In the coming months, we'll also make it possible to insert ad breaks via the Live API, which is something many of you have requested. We hope you'll stay for our monetization session later this afternoon, where we'll talk about all of this in a lot more depth and hear from partners who are using these products. We know that this is a really important topic. And now I'd like to hand it back to Daniel to talk about some of the video behaviors we're seeing from the Facebook community.
Aaron. All right, well, Aaron's just given us a great overview of Facebook video products from the past year. But now I'd like to talk a little bit about the video behaviors that we've seen from people on Facebook. We're realizing that people's video behavior on Facebook is, above all, community-driven. And I guess really that's not new. As long as video has existed, it's been natural for us to experience it with others. Here's an early photo of me and my mom. I was much cuter then. As far back as I can remember, we watched Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy pretty much every night. And as I was growing up, it was really something that gave us something to talk about. And often the things that you'd see in the shows would then show up in conversations the next day. And I'm sure countless other families have very similar experiences with the nightly news or sitcoms or other shows. They basically plan their evenings around those shows and then enjoy those shows together. So from the beginning, video has really been a shared experience that has sparked community as well as conversation. So how exactly is Facebook video community-driven? Well, as Chris talked about earlier, community on Facebook really comes in a number of different forms. First, it means the broader universe of people who use Facebook. Second, it means the interest or affinity communities like Facebook groups and pages. And it means small groups of friends and family. So on Facebook, what we see is that people discover video through a community, they watch video as a community, and then they discuss video with their communities. So let's start with community discovery. When we see people and they discover new videos that they like on Facebook, the first thing that we tend to see is that they share those videos with their friends. One of the ways that they share them is by simply tagging each other into those videos in comments. And we see a lot of examples of this. So here you see a documentary trailer from Netflix. And as you can see in the comments, people are suggesting ways to enjoy those videos together, enjoy those shows together. And that ranges from kind of low-key nights with friends to full-fledged viewing parties. This is a really common thing that we see on Facebook. And cumulatively, this drives a lot of video viewership. More than 40% of all of the video watch time on Facebook is actually from people sharing that video versus the original video post. Now, people don't just tag their friends into videos. They actually watch together. We've seen this powerfully with Facebook Live, because live video is all about community and watching together. Video just becomes more interesting when you watch it with other people. And we already knew that live videos spark conversation more than any other type of video. But what we found is that people spend significantly longer watching a live video if at least one other friend is watching at the same time with them. So case in point is this giraffe named April. Now, April became a bit of a live streaming sensation over the last few weeks. She's living in an animal park in upstate New York, and she was pregnant and was expected to give birth any day. Now, over the past few weeks, millions of people have tuned in to this live stream, basically waiting to see if she would give birth. And most of the time, literally nothing was happening. I mean, all she was really doing was pacing around her pen. But what was powerful about it was the audience anticipation, and it was huge. Because watching with other people and reading their comments was actually a big part of the experience. We even saw people making memes and pregnant giraffe parody videos. Now, it's taken a few weeks, and I have to admit there was a certain point where I doubted whether April was pregnant in the first place. But this past weekend, she gave birth, and she did it to an audience of over 1 million people. I get excited when I get 20 people watching my live broadcasts, so this baby giraffe is off to a good start. People like to watch all different kinds of live video together on Facebook. And as we just saw, the shared anticipation and suspense is a really big part of communal viewing. Now, sometimes this is really light and quirky stuff like what you see here, a live broadcast from Super Deluxe in which they staged a race between the tortoise and the hare. And this happened a couple months ago. The race went on for almost 40 minutes. And I don't want to ruin this for you, but spoiler alert, the tortoise won. And the bunny, I don't really know, either had performance anxiety or just wasn't all that interested in the race. But along the way, there were moments of incredible suspense, like right before the end when the tortoise literally just took a rest a few millimeters away from the finish line. So we'll cut to the chase here. Because he sat there for almost 10 minutes, but eventually he crossed to victory, and the audience was riveted the whole time. The bunny, on the other hand, not so riveted. So that's a fun example, but sometimes we see shared suspense around much more serious and important content as well. This is a broadcast from CNN in Turkey that happened last July during an attempted military coup. Now, armed soldiers actually stormed CNN's studio and took their broadcast off air. And the newsroom crew literally had to evacuate the building. But CNN continued to stream live on Facebook while crowds of protesters gathered outside, and it was a really incredible moment. Now, shared passions are another powerful force that keeps people together to watch. And sometimes we see this in really huge moments, like this Thai reality TV show called The Masked Singer. Now, in this show, contestants perform live, but they wear pretty elaborate costumes so you don't know who they are. And when The Masked Singer airs on Facebook Live, it literally gets hundreds of thousands of people watching at the same time. In this particular episode, we're looking at a person performing while wearing a durian, which is a fruit that doesn't smell very good. And what's incredible about this is we're watching this person in full costume, so we don't know who it is, but we essentially experienced this live with hundreds of thousands of other people. And the biggest episode that we've seen this had over 850,000 people watching at the same time. So I think the lesson here is if you're going to watch someone perform in a durian outfit, it's just more fun when 850,000 other people are watching with you. Now, one place that we see people watching together is Facebook groups. More than 1 billion people use groups every single month. And those groups capture people's interests in a way that friend and family connections just don't. And the reason for that, of course, is that people's passions and interests don't perfectly overlap with their social graph, their friends and family. So for example, I belong to a Facebook group for private pilots. And to me, that's really interesting because I love to fly, but not a single one of my friends is a member of that group. What happens, though, is that if I want to go live, and share my live broadcast about planes or flying, I can do that in that group, and I have a built-in, tailor-made audience of people who really care about that subject. Take this style group from Denmark. Now, this group has members that go live in the group to share makeup demos and fashion tips. And live video really helps this group build community around a common interest. And not surprisingly, live broadcasts do really well in groups. Only 5% of all live broadcasts from people happen inside of a group, but they represent more than 20% of all live watch time. So the same goes for non-live video. This is a dog spotting group that has more than 500,000 members. And dog spotters essentially like to find random dogs, take videos of them, and then share them in the group. And the group's community standards are pretty strong, so one of the rules is that every uploaded video has to be original. And the members discuss each other's videos, and they even score them. So here's one of hundreds of the videos that you tend to see in this group. And it doesn't really matter which breed of dogs you like or what your favorites are. I'm pretty sure you're going to find a good dog spotting video here. This is a good example of community bonding over their love of dogs through video. Here's another example. This is a group that I find really amazing. It is entirely about hula hooping. And members essentially upload videos of their new hula hoop routines as they master new tricks. Now, the group has some pretty amazing talent, and it goes as far as people who do live or recorded videos of hula hooping with a hula hoop that glows in the dark. I didn't even know that was a thing. Or even hula hoops that are on fire, which shouldn't be a thing. Now, here's a great example of one of the videos from the group's members. Now, for me, this defies the laws of physics, and I'm pretty sure if I tried to do this, you'd have to pick me up from the ER afterward. But I find it pretty amazing, and this is a good example of something that you'd only believe if you watch it. And video is really the only medium that would work here. She drops it at the end, which is kind of sad. Now, we also see communities form around video that's not even on Facebook. As Chris mentioned earlier, HBO runs a really active fan group for their recent series, Big Little Lies. People spend a pretty impressive amount of time in the group, and it essentially broadens the fan base for HBO's series. So fans in the group are now clamoring for season 2. Meanwhile, HBO has used this Big Little Lies group to share a lot of video content. And that ranges from clips to behind-the-scenes features, or even live broadcasts with Q&As from cast members. In this case, you have a live interview with Nicole Kidman. Now, the cultures and norms of these communities are really strong. For example, this is a fan group for NBC's recent show, Timeless. And this group actually goes on lockdown for 48 hours after a new episode comes out, just to make sure that no spoilers get posted. And the common thread across all of these communities, of course, is how powerfully video can bring people together and build stronger connections. So it's clear that Facebook already enables a lot of community-driven video. But what we want the Facebook of tomorrow to do is even better. We want to help you as publishers take even greater advantage of Facebook's core strengths. And we want to help video bring people closer together. So let's talk through some of the problems that we're looking at solving this year. First, how can video help with discovery? Today, we already show people videos based on social context. But what if community was the main reason you saw videos on Facebook? Because if a community that you belong to is watching or discussing a video, you should see that video. Now, this could happen in Newsfeed, of course, but it's also a big focus as we think about things like the video tab and our TV apps. We want to build those destinations around shared discovery of video. Second, how do we improve the experience of watching together? A lot of video viewing on Facebook is social already, but we have the opportunity to improve some of these experiences. For example, someone might feel a little lost watching a huge Facebook Live video broadcast with hundreds of thousands of other people watching that they don't even know. And the experience of watching regular on-demand video can sometimes feel a little bit solitary. Facebook is one of the most social places you can spend your time, so the experience of watching video on Facebook should reflect that. So we're trying to imagine ways to make the experience of watching a video on Facebook inextricable from the experience of sharing or discussing it. So as you heard from Chris earlier, we're already working on this for live videos. How many of you have watched a live video and watched streams of comments fly by from thousands of people who are watching at the same time? Is that an experience you've had? Now, when you've had that experience and one of your friends joins and starts watching at the same time, wouldn't you just want to discuss that video with them? Now you have someone you actually know and you really want to discuss it with that particular person. So we're going to make it possible for people to chat directly with their friends who are watching a live video. People watching a live video will be able to see which of their friends are watching the same video at the same time and invite them into chat. And anyone in the chat can add more people to chat with, so you can get a group of people chatting at the same time. Now, if they finish watching the broadcast, or if you move on at any point, you can actually carry the conversation on in Messenger afterwards, and then just come right back into the video at any time. So that way, people can be a part of a big collective moment with the wider community, but also talk directly with the people who matter most to them. And they can always jump back to the public conversation anytime, so they can carry that conversation in a public way or with their friends. Now, we're pretty excited to be rolling this out very, very soon. Finally, how can we improve the experience of discussing video together? People already discuss video a ton on Facebook, but we want to surface that discussion better. When people watch a video, we want it to be easier for them to find what other people are saying about it, and we want to make it easier for you as publishers to find out about communities and discussions that have popped up around the content that you are creating, so that you can engage and foster those communities. Those are some of the big challenges that we're tackling and talking about this year. But ultimately, our goal is to make the video experience on Facebook more social and to build more intention and habit around video. We're pretty early in this process, so we don't really have all the answers yet, but we want to give you a sense of some of the questions that we have in mind when we're thinking about this and planning the future. So what does all this mean for you as you actually create video content for Facebook audiences? Well, as you can tell, we believe that community will become so core to video that it affects the content itself. We think that new content formats and new best practices are emerging in this world of community-driven video. And I want to show you a couple examples of what we're seeing. All right, so this one's kind of fun. First, from Super Deluxe, the same people that brought us that tortoise and the hare race, so you already know this is going to be good. Well, they recently aired a live telenovela. And it was complete with all the drama, all the overacting, all the things that you know and love about telenovelas. The twist was that the audience was able to vote live on plot developments and actually control pivotal moments in the story. So the whole outcome essentially depended on where the audience wanted to take the story in real time. So let's set this up. There's a murder mystery, and we're all trying to figure out who did it. Personally, when I saw this, I thought it was the wife. As you'll see, the audience didn't agree with me, but let's see what happens.
He venido porque yo sé quién mató a mi padre. Y es uno de ustedes.
¿Quién mató a patriarca? ¿La esposa? ¿La criada? ¿O el abogado? La audiencia ha decidido.
It gets really good in a minute.
La persona que mató a mi padre fue la criada.
Doesn't get any better than that, right? Now, as you can imagine, this ended up being a pretty fun live broadcast. Now, admittedly, we've seen a few examples of live polls that weren't exactly as good as this. It tended to be things like polls over static images of content that's not actually live. So we're working on addressing that. But we're really encouraged when we see creative and innovative uses of interaction with the audience, like this live telenovela. Here's another example. This is from a studio called Crypt TV. And it's essentially a live horror film on Facebook called Stream. Now, Stream feels like found footage, and it was made mobile first. And the filmmakers deliberately left it unclear to viewers what exactly was going on. So at first, it looked like this was a live broadcast about some fans who had won a Crypt TV fan contest. But then it started to dawn on people that what they were actually seeing was a fictional narrative film play out in real time. And it made for a pretty memorable collective experience, and the audience loved it. Now, at the top of this session, we talked about how we've seen many shifts in the history of media, from print to audio to video in its various forms. And now we think that a new medium is emerging from the combination of video with participatory online communities like the ones you'll find on Facebook. We're seeing original content that drives audience conversation, and we're seeing formats that could only work in the context of Facebook. We don't really know exactly what will develop, and it'll probably take a little while to pan out, but we're already seeing the first signs today. So please stick around for our next session, where Ricky Van Veen will talk in depth about content that drives community. He'll talk about the different ways that content and community can work together, and he'll showcase some best practices that we're seeing. He has a panel of great guests who are experimenting with community-driven video on Facebook in really cool ways. So thank you so much for coming and for being such great partners. It's been a real pleasure taking you through the future of video on Facebook.